Hi, and welcome back to the Early World Civilizations Read Aloud series. This is Lesson 11, Tutankhamun, the Golden Pharaoh, Part 1. Many years after Hatshepsut ruled, another pharaoh would rule for 9 years, and then be almost completely forgotten for 3,000 years. His name was Tutankhamun, although today he is known all over the world as King Tut. Tutankhamun was only 9 years old when he became pharaoh, and he died when he was only 19. We are not sure why he died at such an early age. After his death, some thought he may have had some sort of accident. When he died, he was not buried in a pyramid like the pharaohs in Hatshepsut's time. Instead, during King Tut's time, pharaohs were buried in the hillsides of a valley. That valley was called the Valley of the Kings. None of the tombs of the pharaohs in the Valley of the Kings were marked. So, in an unmarked tomb in that valley, Pharaoh Tutankhamun would rest, surrounded by treasure and forgotten by the world. For nearly 33 centuries, a very long time ago. Now we will jump way ahead in time, from ancient Egypt to a time closer to today. Almost 100 years ago, a British archaeologist named Howard Carter was interested in trying to find the lost tombs in the Valley of the Kings. Carter's partner was a British nobleman, Lord Carnarvon. Carnarvon was also interested in finding the lost tombs in the Valley of the Kings. Over the next few years, working for and often accompanied by the Lord, Carter found a number of ancient objects scattered throughout the valley. But he had in mind a greater prize. Another archaeologist found objects that had hieroglyphs written on them mentioning Pharaoh Tutankhamun. Howard Carter was determined to find the tomb of the pharaoh and was convinced that somewhere in the Valley of the Kings lay Tutankhamun's hidden burial site. Could he find it? Trying to find the location of the tomb was not always easy or safe. Robbers often showed up to steal any valuable objects whenever they heard of new discoveries. In a book about his career, archaeologist Howard Carter wrote about one dangerous encounter with such thieves in the Valley of the Kings. A band of robbers had learned of a discovery, and on a moonlit night, the thieves crept through the shadows of the valley, determined to steal whatever they could carry away. But just as they were starting to gather the loot, a second band of robbers appeared with the same idea. Instantly, the two gangs attacked one another in a fierce battle there in the moonlight, amid the burial sites of the ancient pharaohs. The second gang chased off the first, but Howard Carter, in his nearby camp, heard the noise of their fight. Here is how he calmly described what happened next. I collected the few of my workmen still nearby and set out for the scene of action, an expedition involving a climb of more than 1,800 feet over the hills in the moonlight. It was midnight when we arrived on the scene. The guide pointed out to me the end of a rope dangling down the face of the cliff. Listening, we could hear the robbers actually at work. I first cut their rope, cutting off their means of escape. Then, making secure a good stout rope of my own, I lowered myself down the cliff. There were 8 robbers at work, and when I neared the bottom, there was an awkward moment or two. Eventually, the robbers saw reason and departed. The rest of the night I spent guarding the spot. For 6 years, archaeologist Howard Carter searched for the tomb of Pharaoh Tutankhamun. The two men had focused their attention on one area in the Valley of the Kings. All that was left was the ground beneath some huts in which ancient workers had lived while digging the royal tombs. Carter decided to give this area one last try. He and his men removed the huts and leveled off the soil below. As Carter finished removing the first of the workers' huts, he found something very exciting. For there, lost to the world for 32 centuries, and almost overlooked by Carter and his partner in 6 years of digging, was a stone staircase leading down into the rocky floor of the valley. Carter and his men uncovered the steps one by one until, as they cleared the dirt from the top of the 12th step, they saw beyond it. In Carter's own words, the upper part of a doorway. Atop the door was a hieroglyphic seal, showing that the door had been sealed shut under royal authority. Whoever had been buried there was either royal or someone very important to the pharaoh. Almost overcome with excitement, Carter cut a small hole in the door and shone a light through the hole. Inside, he saw a hallway filled to the top with rocks. It took all of his self-control not to break through and begin flinging the rocks out. Instead, leaving some of his men to guard the place, he covered the door up again and rode off through the moonlight, thinking anything might lie beyond that passage. Yet none of them was exactly sure what Carter had found. Guys, this is the last of part 1. Head over to part 2 now. See ya.